Hi everyone, welcome to this brief video on lesson 10 of the reproduction scheme of work. This is on pollination. And essentially, I'm not going to talk too much and I'm not going to draw into the visualizer because it's all pretty straightforward and in the slides. One thing I might say to begin with, if you have actual examples of insect pollinated or wind pollinated plants that you can bring in and show students, that's going to be really powerful in this lesson. What's in the slides is a starting point, but not necessarily an end point. So do bring in more if you've got photos that you want to share, things like that. That could be really helpful. And in terms of the content that's being covered here, I suppose the point is it all comes back to what we were talking about in the previous lesson with the structure of the flower. The key idea that everything in this scheme of work comes back to is fertilization. How are we going to bring a male sex cell to meet a female sex cell so that they can fuse and form a new organism? Essentially, what we're doing in this lesson is showing students that there are two ways that this can happen. One is by insects landing on the stamen, getting themselves covered in pollen, and then moving to another plant and transferring that to the carpel or landing on the stigma, so that the pollen can then be taken to fertilize the egg. The other way is pollen being blown by the wind. So it's pretty straightforward, and actually the slides do a perfectly good job of taking students through that information and getting them to answer questions about it. But yeah, I think from a curriculum point of view, the only extra advice I could give is to say, always come back to the big idea. Frame it in terms of fertilization, make those analogies with human beings, and then students will have some prior knowledge around which they can organize these new ideas. The final thing to say on this lesson, there is a bit of a random extension question in the middle about food security. That's just one of those things that we need to cover in the national curriculum. But I think it's a really important topic to talk to students about, the kind of dangers of falling insect populations and why this is such a big deal. So how you wish to do that, you may wish to actually draw some diagrams about that and show why this is such a problem, or yeah, you may just wish to discuss it. So it's kind of in there, it's sort of dropped in there a little bit, but it is a really important discussion to have. But otherwise, I hope you this teaching of this lesson goes well, and in the next lesson we'll be looking at fertilization in plants.